morning, thank you very much for joining me. This video is not my general type of content. If you are not an eBay seller, it probably won't be relevant to you, so do feel free to scroll on by. But I felt I needed to make this video because I think I do still have a lot of resellers who follow me. I used to make a lot of eBay videos a couple of years ago and I've gradually changed my content, but this issue is one that I feel needs to be heard, and it needs as many people as possible talking about it. And this is the ongoing glitches and problems with the eBay website that just seem to have come to a head in the last week. And I've just watched Nick and Andrea Hill's video or live stream from last night where they talk about it as well, and the seller ladies also did a video on Lex's channel, I think it was, on Friday, talking about some of the issues. And I just really, as I know I have a little bit of a platform still within the reselling community, I felt it was almost, don't want to say my duty, but I think it's an important issue that needs to be addressed. And if we can all come together and talk about this and say to eBay, no, it's not acceptable, it's absolutely not acceptable, then maybe they will listen. Maybe they won't, but maybe they will. If we have a platform, I think it's a good way to try and harness some sort of improvement in the situation we've currently got. Right, all that having been said, what is the situation we've currently got? For me personally, in the last month, I have had 2 whole days where I've planned to be listing on eBay where I've been completely unable to list. One of them was a couple of weeks ago. There was a glitch with uploading photographs. It was just impossible to upload photographs, and it went on all day and all evening. And the levels of frustration I was seeing from people in my chats with other resellers that I talk to and on Instagram and everywhere, it was really affecting people. It affected me. This is my business. This is not something I do to make an extra few quid on the side. This is my business. This is my main source of income. And it's not acceptable. It's just not okay. And then again, last Monday, I think it was it last Monday? No, it's Tuesday, I think, the day they were updating the item specifics, which I will come to in a minute. Again, couldn't list all day because it wouldn't let you fill in some of the item specifics, and it said if you didn't fill them in you couldn't list. And it just another whole day of work lost because of technical issues with eBay. So that's 2 days in the last month that I haven't been able to list, and nobody else either, from what I gather. Then on top of that, this latest item specifics thing. Item specifics have been updated again, as if they haven't been fiddled around with enough this year already. And I cannot believe that they would put something out that hasn't been at the very least beta tested. But I also can't believe, having looked at the utter fiasco that is item specifics now, that they have beta tested this in any way whatsoever. I can't believe it. On Saturday, I put, after a lot of discussion with friends and other resellers, I put a post in a Facebook group. I'm just looking down because you're perched on top of the screen, and I'm just bringing up the post because I want to quote to you from it. And I asked people to comment and tell me about, or to mention things in the item specifics, the new fantastic eBay's item specific changes, to see what we're having to deal with on a daily basis in our business here. Now, the first one I would say that is just ridiculous is the EAN, which they're making us put in for used clothes now. The only way to get around putting an EAN number, and let's face it, how many pieces of used clothing have a number? They just don't, do they? The only way of getting around it is to type "does not apply" all in one word into the box, and then when you've done that, it will hang, saving the draft for about 10 seconds on my screen. I don't know if anybody else has that, I'm guessing they do. So that's 10 seconds in addition for each listing, typing in a pointless thing just to fill in an EAN field. Why does a used Marks and Spencer cardigan need to have an EAN? Nobody's going to be searching for it, just they're not. Right, I'm looking down because I'm going to read out to you some of the other things that eBay have put into item specifics. One of the new fabric options in dresses is copper. Now, in 15 or 16 years of selling on eBay used clothing, I have never come across a dress made of copper. Never. Not once. And I'm pretty sure that I'm safe in saying that nobody else has either. Somebody told me, I'm not going to say the names because people might not want their names put on YouTube. Somebody told me that she was asked for the inside leg of a bikini and the shoe width of a brooch. That was somebody else as well. Shoe width in a brooch. I mean, has anybody even vaguely checked this eBay before you put it out and try to get us to run our businesses? Filling in these item specifics. We're constantly told that the more item specifics you fill in, the better you'll get up best match. So we're all trying desperately to fill in all these item specifics, and you're giving us this to work with. I'm just... inside leg is also an option in children's vintage dresses. Talking of vintage, in all clothing listings, in the standard clothing section, bear in mind there is a completely separate section or category for vintage clothing, and now in every single clothing listing I come across or I make when I'm listing non-vintage clothing, I have to tick a drop down box, yes or no, is it vintage clothing? No, it's bloody not, because if it was, I'd be listing it in the vintage clothing category, wouldn't I? I mean, another bit of time that I have to do another drop down box. Ridiculous. Shoe width is also an option in belts that you have to fill in. Maternity in the men's top section. I mean, I know equal opportunities and everything, but really, maternity men's tops? The option for tunic dresses has been removed, apparently, within the dress section. Ridiculous. I list a lot of tunic dresses. The other day, this is possibly unrelated to the new item specifics, but I do object to when I'm listing a makeup item having to specify whether it's suitable for men or women. Anybody can wear makeup. Some people don't even have a gender these days, for goodness sake. It's 2019 eBay. We do not need to specify whether the makeup item is for men or women. That's bordering on offensive to some people, I imagine. Compression, which is, I'm not sure where this is, I haven't personally seen this one, but it's an option in clothing somewhere. Compression. I've sold clothing online for the best part of 20 years, about 16, 17 years now I think it is, and I've never come across a piece of clothing that I don't know what compression is. Perhaps you can enlighten me, eBay, if you watch this. Where else are we? Model number, or model, not number, model for clothing, particularly in tops, this is mentioned. This is in addition to style, which you have to fill in. How many used clothing items, or even new clothing items, a top has a model? None that I've come across. Looking forward to your video on this. This whole situation is melting my brain. Me too, honestly. Someone points out as well, which is a really valid point, I'm concerned about all the information that's left out. Exact material, heel height, calf circumference, and in the baby category, you only have brand name and no other information at all. Whoever designed these item specifics clearly hasn't sold much on eBay. Absolutely. It looks like it's a bunch of ideas, a brainstorming session, a bunch of ideas, and they've just thrown them all into item specifics without any thought about it at all. Another almost laughable one, in the shoes category, you have to, there's now a drop down for choosing what year they were manufactured, and one of the options is 2020 to 2029. Future shoes, that's for insert. Again, inseam for a bikini top. Ridiculous. And also they've reverted back to knee length, midi, mini options on skirts, where before we put the actual length in, which, yes, is absolutely a step backwards. A skirt that's knee length on me would be mid-thigh on Carla. Carla's way taller than me, for example. So that's just a INAD waiting to happen, isn't it? That sort of thing. Much better when we're able to put the actual length in. And I just can't see any clothing sellers who wouldn't think that, you know. That's why I just don't think they've beta tested it at all. And I think this is in coats. I was listing a coat over the weekend, and warmth weight is now item specific, ranging from 300 to 650. I was listing a velvet blazer. Am I just supposed to pick a number from that? Is there somewhere where it comes from? Please enlighten me, eBay. 17 years experience and I have no idea what the warmth weight in hundreds and 150s is of a velvet jacket. Perhaps you could tell me, please, because I don't want to leave out any item specifics, because, you know, I'll be way down best match, won't I? Someone says putting a size into the title and then it auto-fills with a totally different size is very annoying. Yeah, I've noticed this over the weekend as well. You put an 8 in the title and then it fills it in as a 14. They've removed EU shoe sizes, which I think is crazy. A lot of people, I sell a lot of shoes to the EU, so why would they remove the option for people to be able to filter by EU shoe sizes? It's really disappointing, that is. Someone says, not sure if this has been mentioned yet, but what's winding me up is having to list the listing quantity, unit quantity, and then the quantity again with the price. Why do they need the same information 3 times? Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Oh, and I've one that's just been added on this morning. I couldn't send offers at all last night. Also identified this morning that if I go back into a draft, it auto enters the item specifics again. It wasn't definitely doing that. It definitely wasn't doing that before. So now the drafts I'm finishing, I'm having to redo specifics on. Yeah, I had the exact same thing as that over the weekend. Previous drafts, I was having to rewrite the specifics. So that is some, I wanted to give some specific examples so that if eBay do choose to take any notice of this, they can see that I'm not just ranting for the sake of it. This is examples from a whole bunch of different people who sell clothing. And yeah, that's the specific issues. And then I just wanted to talk about a little bit that I feel like I'm really ranting here, but it's so frustrating, so frustrating. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what has prompted me to make this video. And I've said that, obviously I watched Nick and Andrea's video and I watched the Seller Ladies video, and I felt like I was almost, I felt the obligation to add my voice to that because I have a bit of a platform. I've said all that already, so I've said that. But also, I did think to myself, I do try to have a bit of a balanced view, and I thought, you know, I'm using eBay every day. Perhaps it's normal that, you know, there are glitches. Perhaps I'm being a bit unfair. And then I thought, well, what other websites do I use every single day? Well, there's Google, obviously. I guess there's less to go wrong on that. It's a search engine. It's a one-trick pony, really, isn't it? Google will probably be very upset by me saying that, but you get the point I mean. But I use YouTube on a daily basis as well. I don't pay YouTube anything to use their platform, although obviously they get money from ads and what have you. But it's a free to use platform, and hand on heart, I could not tell you the last time that I had any glitchy issue with YouTube. The YouTube have recently switched over to, from their classic studio. You won't know this unless you're a YouTuber, but they've recently switched over the way us YouTubers go into the back end of our videos and all the techie stuff on the site, basically the upload and process for getting your video live, and that has all changed, and it was seamless. It was perfect. There were no issues at all with it. It takes a bit of an effort to get your head round the way the new one works, but hey, they've given you the option to go back to the old one and use the two alongside each other while you get your head round how it works. There's no glitches. It's never been out of service. I've never not been able to use it for a day. And when you compare this, I think that's quite a fair comparison, because as I say, it's a site that I use on a daily basis, as is eBay. But the fact that we pay eBay so much money, from my the ladies chat that I'm in, Facebook chat, there are, I don't know how many of us in it, but quite a lot, maybe a dozen of us. And I would say that we probably pay eBay, between us, about £10,000 in fees every month, I would say. Roughly, you know, give or take a couple of thousand either way, but it's around that sort of number. Times that by the amount of people paying eBay in the UK, and is it really acceptable that we are having to deal with, we are losing money by having to deal with these ongoing issues all the time, time after time, and they seem to pile up. Recently they just seem to have been coming one after the other. I don't think I've even mentioned yet, forgive me if I have, the Seller Hub graph has been lagging terribly. Mine's 48 hours behind. Other people have got stuff that isn't showing up right for over a week ago. This is Monday, and this is a week ago yesterday. The previous Sunday's listed sales are not showing right. That is a tool we use. Seller Hub graph is a tool that we use to manage our businesses. You know, we need that to work properly. Somebody in Nick and Andrea's chat, somebody said that they'd phoned eBay to ask what was going on with it over the weekend, and they were told that nobody else had reported it. Somebody who's messaged me on Instagram this morning said that they messaged eBay over the weekend about it, and eBay said they knew all about it and were working on it. Different messages from different places, but it's not okay that this hasn't been working for a week. It's not acceptable at all. And I'm definitely ranting now, and I've got a cold as well, and I can hear my voice going. The final thing that tipped me over the edge, I guess, to make this video was a situation with eBay themselves. And back in March this year, I received an email from somebody at eBay inviting me to join a Facebook group that was being set up for business sellers, invited business sellers only, a small group, and was being run by eBay, and it was promoted in this email as being discussion between eBay and other business sellers. And I thought, fantastic, what a great idea, and I was really positive about it. And I joined this group. I think there was about 50 people in it, and there were some other resellers that I knew also invited, and a lot of people that we didn't know as well. But I remember at the very outset that eBay put this poll into the group, what us, the members, would like to see from the group. And by far the most popular option in that poll, from memory, and I can't remember exactly what it said, and I can't go back and look because I'm not in the group anymore, but it said a place for a meaningful discussion with eBay when we have issues as business sellers. We want to be able to connect directly with eBay and with other sellers, and you know, a forum for discussion about issues and things that come up. You get what I mean. Anyway, that was by far the most popular option. Anyway, after several months in the group, I decided to leave, as did a couple of the other people that I know. It became very apparent that it was a vehicle for eBay PR rather than a place where we were able to raise issues. And several issues were raised. I raised a couple of issues, and many other people raised issues that they had, and it was all done in a really polite and really respectful way, and there was no ranting, not like me today. There was no ranting or unpleasantness whatsoever. It was all very businesslike. The issues that I personally raised, nothing ever changed. One of them was an issue around item specifics, funnily enough, several months ago. But yeah, it just never got, nothing got done, and it became apparent that the group was very much a vehicle for eBay PR, and I just didn't need any more of that. I get eBay PR in my inbox 20 times a day. I see it on the television. So I decided to leave. Anyway, I heard over the grapevine this weekend that eBay have shut down in this group the ability for anybody to make posts in this group other than eBay moderators and admin. No, because the tone of the group was too negative. And I was just mind blown by this. A group that was sold to business sellers as a direct line to be able to contact eBay for meaningful discussion and the raising of issues. And they've basically closed down people's ability to connect with them in there. I'm mind blown by this. I think it's well, take from that what you will. I don't want to rant on about it anymore. I've been on 21 minutes already. I've foolishly thought I'll make a 5-minute video about this. And that is really what's tipped me over the edge to make this video and to let eBay know how I feel about this, and how many other people on Instagram and Facebook and resellers I chat to feel about this. It's not okay, it's not acceptable, it's costing us money. And you know, people that alternatives will come along. There are alternatives already. People are changing their businesses, and unless this is dealt with, this sort of thing, and it's stopped, it's just not okay. Anyway, I've said all that I want to say. If you could, I'd be very grateful if you drop a little comment or a like on this. I try not to ask for that in every video I make, but the more engagement I get with this, the further it will be seen. And if you're having issues, please comment and like, and share it as well if you can. As I said, don't ask for this to be done generally. So yeah, I'd be really grateful if you would do that. Thank you very much for watching. I will obviously let you know in a follow-up if I get any response from eBay, and let's hope that by adding my voice to the other ones that are out there, and if any of you guys out there make reselling videos and can make a video talking about what's going on, that would be great as well. Let's try and make them listen, because they can try and shut us down, but won't work. Let's use our platforms to try and make something happen. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.